And I ain't stopping, no I ain't stopping, homie regardless, And I ain't stopping, no I ain't stopping, I'm just getting started, let's go. My skin is pale, but I'm a black sheep, riding through the city, Satan in the backseat. Hey yo, that's me, I run it like a track meet, a rap fiend, I set the bar high like an athlete. Step in the booth and Zach gon' drop that 808, cause the vibe is dope and the beat is cracking, now it's getting laced. I'm sharp as a razor blade, I can blow your mind like JFK. I do what I want, you ain't gonna box me in like David Blaine. We get it poppin', homie, day and night. Got the party jumping, about to break the ice. Stay up on my grind, that's my way of life. I got tunnel vision, I'ma chase that ray of light.
Hey, Earthlings. So I wanted to do a bit of a detailed run through of what modifications done to my bike. You would have seen Truett's video about his bike. Pretty simple. We wanted to kind of give this advice, I suppose, because there's a lot of parts and suppliers out there, and it's just what are we riding? And you've seen us ride, so here it is. So first off, obviously got Protaper Grips. Truett has the thinner ones. These are like the pillow top ones. I'm an old man, so I find this super comfortable. Truett's, I find like you're probably more connected to the bike, but I find if you're doing it rough, these just take a bit of harshness out. Complete personal preference. Ergotech 70mm risers. I do have an aftermarket stem. It is slightly further forward. Originally, I did try a lower rise set of handlebars with a race spec Sur Ron riser stem. To my surprise, I didn't really rate that. I thought it was great at the start. I was like, yep, that's heaps more comfortable. That's exactly what I needed. It was more comfortable, definitely. But after riding Truett's bike with the setup that he has, I just felt I could have way more control on turnings. I could be a lot more aggressive on a turning, get into a corner. So I found that going back to this traditional style stem was actually a lot better than using the race spec Sur Ron style stem. I don't mean to obviously put anything bad against race spec Sur Ron parts. I have a few of them, they're great. I just think that stem for my case scenario didn't work. It just made me feel disconnected. And I definitely have better turning with this stem. So take what you want, but I think you stay with the stock stem. Troy explained in the other video that obviously if you knock the handlebars, the less likely to bend your handlebars or damage your forks. Next one is obviously the forks. So Bomber 58 forks. I also run the rear Fox DHX2 shock. I did try a 550-pound spring on the rear. Ended up going with a 500. It was just too hard in bumpy trails. Better for jumps with 550. No way is it better for general riding purposes. So I think a good compromise is to go 500-pound spring, especially if you're an 80, 85 kilo rider like me and Truett are. Once again, with the bombers in mind, I do think the Fox 40s are the better pick. When you're landing jumps, that high-speed compression is super handy when you want to dial in how your bike handles when you land. Obviously, you don't have this with the Bomber 58s. That's why they're cheaper, and I think that is a game changer. So I think if you're a super serious rider and you want to land big jumps, I think this is where the Bombers kind of miss the mark. For general riding, absolute game changer, like compared to the original D&M or Fast Ace forks. But once again, I still think the D&M forks are okay. So if you're doing general trail riding, not hitting big jumps, or you're not landing down big obstacles and trying to go over big rocks, the D&M forks are fine. So if you want to save money and you want to do the best thing for your bike, I'd probably move on to something like the back 4000 and a power upgrade over the front forks or the rear shock as a starting point. Staying in the suspension theme, I've got the Warp 9 linkages, the 0.75mm riser, same as Truett. Once again, it's pretty much a must to even out the bike if you do upgrade to the Bomber forks or the Fox 40 forks. They just look cool. Truett said that in his video as well. It's red because it definitely goes faster. So next up, I suppose just staying with a bit of stabilisation thing is kickstand. I have a janky 3D printed adapter on my kickstand. It's like a big knob. It's good. It's what everyone wants out of life. it doesn't look good, but I do have a Warp 9 adjustable kickstand coming. So that's on pre-order. So when that turns up, that will be lovely. So I'm pretty keen on getting that one. The other thing I have is obviously graphics. I got this from Amazon. I think this is a must. I mean, you just rub the paint off the bike. So why not rub it off a sticker instead of the bike, and then your bike looks right underneath it. My bike's still okay underneath these stickers. It's not great, it's not new, but I think at least these, you rip off, you chuck a new set on, you're done. We'll leave a couple of links of where I got this from and all our parts on our bikes as well. Enduro brakes, you can't see this, we'll see it from this angle, but we'll give you a close up. I've got a 220mm Hope rotor on the front with actually an adapter. The reason I had to use this Hope rotor and this 220mm or 220mm rotor on the front was I can't actually fit the 21-inch wheel that I've got, which I'll talk about in a second, with the Magura MT7 Pro brakes. So next up, so back 4000 and 72-volt Ebmx battery. Most of all our power upgrades are from Ebmx, and a few of my parts also from Ebmx as well. Because we live in Australia, that's the supplier we normally use. We find they have excellent customer service, so they haven't let us down before. So back 4000, I think is a good match for this motor. Me and Truett both run 12 kilowatt. It's more than enough. We generally ride in mode 4 most of the time, which obviously wouldn't be the full 12 kilowatt mark. And it's enough power. So, I mean, I personally haven't tried a back 8000 with the 500 or 550 phase amps that they push through this motor. I'm assuming the acceleration is pretty impressive, but if you want to ride hard, this combo is constantly thermally throttling and it's constantly pulling itself back just to stop it killing itself. So I don't know how many full throttles at your full 550 phase amps you get. So in our opinion, we really like the back 4000. A, it's cheaper and it's well matched to this motor. Cool, we did a video on this a while ago when we first kind of started. Front headlight, I've got a steady work light. Headlight, much better over the stock. It's quite bright. It obviously runs fine on all the stock wiring. It's a really, really easy upgrade. I'd probably recommend definitely upgrading the headlight. You think it's okay when you're first on the bike, but if you're going to ride at night, I'd recommend an upgrade of some sort. So once again, we'll link the parts in the description, but yeah, definitely worth doing. Seat. So this is a Lunar cycle seat. They make one in leather, and they make also one in fake leather. Just being in the theme of the vegans, I went this seat. Basically, it's a lot more comfortable than the stock seat. I find it kind of, if you have a 72-volt battery where you do have to raise this part up a bit, it kind of levels it out. So I think it looks aesthetically good. It's super comfortable. If you're going to do a lot of sit-down riding, like I have a small child, so we'll ride slowly around our property. It's awesome. Be comfortable. Why not be comfortable? Just do it. Next thing on the list is I've got a few race spec Sur Ron parts, which I'm pretty happy with. So I've got the old long dong. Looks cool. Haven't really had much mud to test it out on. My property is super muddy in winter, or when it's been torrential downpour. So I'm not used to this bike that's been covered in mud everywhere. So I'm hoping this might stop a bit hitting in the back of the head, so that'd be useful. I thought this race spec Sur Ron would do that. Definitely didn't. And I thought this would also take away a lot of the mud that would hit the shock. Also didn't. So we'll see how this combination works. The other thing I've also got, which Truett actually missed in his video, is the little spacer that goes in between the pegs. That's a race spec Sur Ron one as well. We've had these on since basically brand new, so we haven't bent any peg supports or peg stands, I suppose. But I know it's a must. I have seen a lot of people break them, so obviously that support is a must-have. So if it was one of the first ones you're going to do, I'd recommend definitely looking at that. Because you are going to crash, you're going to have fun, you're going to crash. So why not stop your pegs breaking off? Good move. Also, my pegs are also race spec Sur Ron as well. They're great. Haven't had any issues. They're black and they look good. Cool. So something new is my tyres and my 64-tooth sprocket. So I run a 21-18 wheel combo. When I say run, I say we're testing at the moment. We've done some speed run tests on this. We've done some grip tests, and It's interesting. We've started doing a video on it. So I feel like there's no really good comparisons what the difference is between standard 1919 versus 2118. Everyone just tells you, oh, it goes with the big rocks better. It does. We feel that it slows the bike down a fair bit, but when you actually test it, it isn't actually any slower. It's slightly slower at the top end, but to the point where I think it really depends on what type of riding you are going to do. Like I said, we'll do a detailed video on these wheels. I'm happy with them, but I think I'm also going to use both sets. I think there'll be times I'll go back to the 1919, and then we'll go for some kind of trail ride where I know it's going to be rough, and I'll go back to this set. Battery life as well. This tyre is really, really hard to find. So if you are going to run an 18-inch rear tyre, you really need a 90 by 100. There's always sellout. So there's a Dunlop make two types of 90 by 100s at 18. So look out for them. They sell out really quick. Luckily, I got two. This just fits with no issues. It clears the chain, it clears the kickstands, it clears everything. And that's probably another thing people don't talk about. If you run a 100 by 100 18 rear tyre, you cannot run the kickstand. You can with some really janky modifications. My kickstand is still modified to run with this tyre, but it's basically you take the original spring support out and you change it to a flat-headed bolt. My kickstand still works flawlessly, but that's the workaround when you do have a bigger tyre. That's it. So thanks for watching. Appreciate everyone's support. Let us know if you like these detailed videos. Yeah, thank you. See you later.